Hey you guys, hope you're well. I just wanted to take this opportunity and let you know about our amazing new business scalability scorecard. So have you ever wondered if you're an entrepreneur, you're a business owner, and you want to grow and scale the business but not sure how, and you're looking for some advice and you're looking for some strategies about how you could effectively grow and scale your business? Well, this is your opportunity. We have actually created an amazing business scalability scorecard. It'll take you around 7 to 8 minutes, and at the end of that, it will actually create a report of all of the things that you're doing particularly well in and the things that you need to make improvements to your business. And it's a great tool and a great asset for your business. To get free access to that, go to bit.ly/business-scalability-scorecard. Go there, go now. Take care, see you soon.
This is the Game Changers Experience. Deep dive conversations with leading business disruptors, Olympic athletes, celebrities, entrepreneurs, and influencers from around the world. This show will teach you insights about the winning principles in mindset, productivity, marketing, branding, entrepreneurship, business strategy, and more. Hosted by Productivity Authority, business strategist, former elite athlete, author, and public speaker, Adam Strong.
Listen, it's been a bit of a whirlwind week, and hope you guys are doing great. And moving on to our speaker. So this particular lady actually was introduced through a mutual friend of mine about, probably pushing on around 2.5, 3 years ago. And she's an entrepreneur. She's also the co-founder and a business owner of a company called Wildspirit. And we crack about this story, which probably makes you guys laugh more than anything else, but it's called Wildspirit. She's also the franchise owner of a company called Introbiz Sweden, and the main Introbiz is actually run by a good friend of ours called Tracy Smolinski, and our guest speaker, who's Claire Rees. She's a franchise owner of Introbiz in Sweden. So a little bit different in terms of the market. So for you guys that are listening from around the world, Sweden is that kind of skinny country in the middle of the Scandinavian continent. Anyway, so that's all good. Listen, so if you're listening to us live, great. And just again, like I said, we want to have fun. We want to have interactivity. We like to have questions. And if you're a bit shy, it's okay. We don't bite. We're only human. So it's all good. Listen, so bring a big round of applause, Miss Claire Rees. Woo!
What a brilliant intro, and what so much energy. Fantastic. I love it. I love it. How are you, Adam? And thank you for having me on.
No worries, it's all good. Well, listen, you know me. When I do these types of things, it's all about high energy for me.
Absolutely, and you're the man for the high energy, aren't you? Fabulous. Yeah, I was laughing at the back there. It's brilliant, absolutely fantastic. I'm enjoying it. I'm looking forward to some of this fun that we talk about.
Absolutely interesting. So, listen. For those guys that are listening in right now, whether they might be listening to a recording from our podcast or on the YouTube or whatever it might be, give us a bit of a background. I mean, I know that you're from Wales originally. You moved to Scandinavia. You moved to Sweden specifically quite a number of years ago. But tell us a little bit about that. What was going through your mind when you gave up the I suppose countryside of Wales and the Red Dragon and stuff like that, and kind of shipped up and moved to a much colder climate? What was going through your mind there?
I know, crazy. But just to let everybody know, it wasn't sort of like, I'm going to make this decision and make this decision now. There was a lot of thought gone into it. And when I was in Wales, my dream was I always want to emigrate. So whenever I went on holidays, I was always going to, if I went to Italy, France, Spain, wherever I went, I'm going to live there. So there was always in my mind. So when the opportunity came up, and that's it, isn't it? You have to put yourself out there. When the opportunity came up that I was going to move to Sweden, it was a no-brainer for me. And everything happened for a reason, because it came to a point where my son had actually moved out. He'd gone to college, and my project had come to an end. The contract had come to an end. And the man in my life showed up. And, you know, I fell in love, and he was in Sweden. He's from Wales as well. He'd already moved to Sweden, and that was the opportunity. But that's about it, isn't it? It's creating those opportunities. Never say I wish I could, say I am going to. And that's what happened. And we moved to Sweden. And yeah, I gave up that project management, community development life to actually run a dog, like you said, Wildspirit, dog sledding.
Don't even get us started, guys. Don't even get us started with that, right? It's all good. So funny.
Yeah. So we set up Wildspirit dog sledding, and we started off with 8 dogs. And I remember when I actually moved here, and my now husband, because we got married, his brother said, one day I'm going to have 16 dogs, and you know, we're going to have. Because Richard's brother was in the business with us at the very beginning. And I looked at him and I thought, are you nuts? 16 dogs. That's 8 dogs. Are you nuts? You know? And then we set up this dog sledding business. I think at the most dogs we've ever had is 92.
Wow. That's insane.
You know, to think that you're actually moving, a Welsh girl is moving from Wales to Sweden with 8 huskies. I thought that was mental. And I was really looking forward to that experience and the news and a new door opening. And now, and then we end up with 90. So we're down to 65 now. So yeah, as you said, we're a Welsh couple from Wales. We emigrated to Sweden, and lo and behold, we set up a dog sledding business. And I think for me, as well, it was all the stuff that we've done. It's not been something that we've just thought, yeah, let's do that. Yeah, let's do this. The dog sledding was, but not for my husband. But it was like we lived in a cabin for 5 years with no water, no electricity. And it's something for me. It was like that opportunity was there, and yeah, I took it because I wanted to do that. You know, it's quite funny because my favorite children's program was always Heidi, and I always wanted to live that life, and it just felt right. So
Heidi, I remember that. Jesus,
but not with Grandad, with my husband.
So funny.
Yeah, and it taught us. You know, one thing as well about actually moving and emigrating. It taught me how to be humble, because. I went from, you know, I've got degrees, I've got qualifications, I got project management. But at one point in Sweden, when we were actually setting up, the only job I could actually get was cleaning, because I didn't have the Swedish language. So I had to clean. I am not a cleaner. I'm absolutely rubbish cleaner, you know, but to actually earn some sort of pocket money or put a roof over your head, at one point I had to clean. But it taught me as well, it taught me a huge lesson, that did, because at some points when you're in these businesses, and we were cleaners in businesses as well, people would ignore us. And I thought, how rude, you know. But for me, that I always then, from that point, it was like, I will never, ever ignore anybody, because I know how it feels. You just feel rubbish, you know, to be ignored. That cleaning job is just as important as that huge CEO job as well. So it humbled me, that did. That was an amazing sort of lesson learned, and something that is in my head, you know. It humbles you when you actually move and set a business, and you have to do lots of things. You have to do lots of things to actually get that business established, up and running, and work hard and push yourself. You know, at some point, especially the business that we had. And I noticed on your some of your advertising, you were saying about a tourist business. Well, it's dog sledding. It's going to last 5 to 6 months of the year. So you have to think of other strategies to make an income.
Yeah. And we'll talk about that, actually, because I know that's a really interesting topic, you know, to talk about that. But how did you find... I mean, you talked about emigrating from Wales to Sweden, which are 2 very different cultures. I believe so anyway. How did you, I mean, I know that there's a lot of, I take my hats off to people that effectively are, should we say, foreigners that go into a different country and then set up a business. How did you find, what was the first couple of years like for you running a business in a foreign country that you couldn't even speak the same language and had very little experience in terms of culture? What was that like?
Tough. So tough. Just think about it. I knew 2 words when I came here. I knew hello and goodbye. And that's all I knew. And you are exactly right. You know, I am Welsh, and what you see is what you get. You have my full life history. You have everything about me in the first 5 minutes that you actually learn. You learn me. I'm your best friend when you just meet me. I'm your best friend when you just meet me. That's the Welsh culture. We wear our hearts on our sleeves. And then you have a typical Swedish culture, which can be quite introverted. It takes a long time to build that relationship. And they're very rule orientated. Well, you know, in Wales, rules are made to be broken, and it's our philosophy. In Sweden, rules are rules. So it was so tough to actually learn about the culture and culture shock. You know, if anybody has experienced culture shock, it is a shock to the system, and it's a new learning. You have to learn, because at one point as well, I dipped. I was low. I got anxiety. I got depression because I was being somebody that I wasn't. I was trying to fit in with the Swedish culture, and that's not me. But I've learned to get out of that as well. And now it's, even though I fit, I'm more empathetic to the Swedish culture. I'm still me, but I'm more empathetic and understanding of the Swedish culture as well. So that's what it is. When you move into a country, you have to be empathetic of what they are doing to actually fit in. I don't think we'll ever fit in 100%. We'll never do it, but we've fitting in, you know, as an outsider, and that's what we're building our reputation. And we've got quite a good reputation here as well. We've been on the Kevin MacLeod show, Escape to the Wild, and we've done a sort of newspaper PR and things like that. And we're one of the biggest dog sledding companies in our area, called the Empland. So a lot of people know who we are. So we are respected, and we get a lot of referrals as well from other businesses, because they know who we are, and our customer service that we offer tourists, which, you know, which is massive. When you get referrals in the Swedish world, that's massive. Nice, love it. Very cool. Very interesting conversation. Love to know if any of you guys that are listening in, if you're similar to Claire in terms of where she was at, and if you're in the same position, and if you've struggled to make a transition, or maybe you're not, maybe you're just listening in because we're having some interesting conversations, which is fine too, by the way. That's all good. Interestingly enough, because we're talking about seasonal businesses now, because you are in a seasonal business, I think you've been in, I suppose, in the middle of Sweden, and you said around 5 to 6 months a year. I think probably this year it's probably been a bit longer. But what have you found to be the advantages and disadvantages of having a seasonal business? Have you found any sort of advantages and disadvantages? Yeah, well, the advantages are, and Richard and I are both the same, is that you won't get bored. You won't get bored of that business. True. Because I'm that type of person, you know, that I have never had a permanent job. I've always ever had projects, because I can get easily bored with if I'm doing the same thing all the time. That's why I don't think I'll ever have a proper job, because I need to have new projects all the time. You won't get bored. And there is, you know, you'd always got that excitement as well. They're the advantages. You get to, and you can submerge yourself. You can really, you know, right, from December to the end of the season, from when we have our last phone call, you can actually push yourself 100% to make things work in that business. And we actually meet so many amazing people from all over the world. This year, exceptional, because we met Swedish people, but normally we get to meet people from Japan, from Australia, Lebanon, Germany, and amazing people. And the power of social media, that's why I love social media for this one reason, is that we keep in touch. So I keep in touch with a lot of our guests, and they return. So it's all that customer service retention, keeping in touch. I had a lovely message from one of my guests that this afternoon, you know, she wanted to tell me something. It's a bit personal, so I won't say it, but for somebody, one of our guests wanted to reach out to tell me something. For me, that is absolutely fantastic. So I've got brilliant relationships. Yeah, it's amazing. And then they bring their friends, and their friends bring their friends. You build in these solid relationships. So yeah, they are the advantages. The disadvantages are then it's more financial, because when that season is finished, then you've got to plan ahead, because you have to have. COVID has actually brought this out anyway. In businesses, you have to have more than one income stream.
Of course.
So we have to start looking for work or other projects for the summertime back in February, March time. So we have to plan them ready for the summertime. And it doesn't always happen. And especially in the area that we live, May and June are down times for a lot of businesses. So when we're not quite there yet, but when we get there, we will actually be having 3 or 4 months of the year off. Just have to make those summer. The dog sledding is sustainable. That's working. That's amazing. That's fabulous. The summer season, we just need to get that going, because we've been concentrating on the winter season. But that is the down. That's the downside of it, is that you're always looking for the next step. And if you think about it, we work sort of like 12, 15, 16 hours during the winter time. By the time that's finished, you need a few weeks off to of
course you do.
To
recharge
clean
the batteries.
Recharge the batteries, So they are some of the things. But that's why the reason that I took on the Introbiz Sweden franchise was so that we knew we needed an extra income stream. And when Tracy came along and suggested to us, and I said, I'm project management, a great people person. I love people. I love helping people. So it was a no-brainer. It was just a no-brainer. And I could see how both businesses eventually can marry together, because we'll have sort of like networking activities with the dog sledding, and it will actually sort of like marry together eventually.
Nice. Very cool. Very good. It's interesting. I just had an epiphany, and I don't think we've ever spoken about this, but are you familiar with the Red Bull races? Are you familiar with Red Bull races? Okay, cool.
Yeah,
and you know that they do?
Yeah. So 30 minutes from us is the biggest ski resort in Europe, I think, in Aura. And they've had the Red Bull races. So there's a pub there called The Broken. And they've got a TV recordings, advertising, where they had the Red Bull challenge going from the top to the bottom as quick as you can. It's nuts.
That's nuts. I had this epiphany, because obviously the dogs, for 6 months of the year, effectively 6-7 months of the year or whatever it is, they're at full well or whatever it is. But I was thinking of a summer idea, and it just came into my head. You might have already considered it already, but based on the concepts of Red Bull races, that you'd use a dog or 2 dogs to effectively do some sort of like summer rally, if you like, right? So it's like, so you create your own I suppose box or Meals on Wheels with 2 dogs on front, and then you race them. And I think it would just be just be kind of fun, and you'd have competition.
Carnage. It'd be carnage.
It would be carnage, and that's the idea. That's the idea, to be carnage.
You have to have a look on YouTube for the mass takeoff with dog sledding. It's absolutely horrendous. It's something I never want to be involved in. I hold my breath for the whole time, because that's one thing you learn as well. You learn with the dogs, is you can't control nature and you can't control animals. And they say never work with children and animals. We work with it all.
True. Otherwise, it'll end up being, I suppose it'll end up being Jackass 5, the continuing stories. I don't know if you guys have ever watched Jackass, but it's kind of funny. But anyway, it's hilarious. Anyway, believe it or not, I want to go back to what you were saying before, which was all about, maintaining cash flow. How do you? I mean, you've now been I suppose you must be a master of continuing to figure out, I mean, you mentioned one point there, which was to plan in February and March about the summer activities, but how to effectively, are there any other tips that you have for our listeners of people that run seasonal businesses, right? Whether it be an ice cream kiosk or something, maybe they own something along the beach or whatever it is, in terms of how to maintain a positive cash flow in the off season. Any thoughts there?
Well, yeah, and it's like you need that extra income. Like we've got the extra bit of passive income as well, and we had actually looked into. We were doing it last year, but before the actual tours started. COVID, and the plan was to be affiliates as well. So it's thinking of all these different income streams that the business can actually use, and becoming sponsored by different companies as well, and then you can. I give you feedback then. I can. So we're looking at affiliations as well. So when people book onto our dog sled tours, then they can, if they want, look at clothing, because that's one of the big bugbear for us as well, is that clothing. So when people turn up, they've got horrendous clothing on. So what we need them to do is wear the good clothing. So we can have some sort of affiliation there where they can purchase good quality clothing for not so much money, because some of the clothing, like a pair of trousers for us, is like you're looking at £300. You know, that you're spending. It's insane prices that we have to spend on clothing. So like for our gear, you're looking at £1.5–2 grand just to kit one person out for the winter season, so they were warm. So you know, the dogs, it's hard wearing clothing as well. So I think I'm going off the subject now. But it's looking at different ways of being passive income, and like we're investing in sort of cash FX as well. So there's different types of passive income there, and you need to actually look at another business that you can actually work around that tourist business, because that's your main component. And it's just being smart and inventive as well, because what we've done, we've built like a playground, so we have dogs, so people can come and visit the dogs. So it's a kennel visits and things like that, and they can take a grill and a coffee at our kennels during the summertime as well. We got a play cart, dogs can run free, and it's good that and a little bit of education as well, because there are so many people out there that come to us and they ask us for information on dogs, especially huskies. So it's educating. So it's thinking smart and being inventive, and look at what you got as well. Look at what you have already got, and how can you use that to your advantage to make an income. And one of the other things that we've done is sponsor a dog, so you can actually, so that people can. And what we are finding is kids always want a dog, don't they? Every child.
Absolutely.
There's not many children that don't want a dog, and they nag their parents for a dog. Well, what we find is the parents are sponsoring a dog. And then, especially if they live in Sweden, they can come visit the kennel. They can take their dog for a walk. They have updates on their dog. So they're buying them a dog, but they can visit it once or twice a year as well. Perfect present for everybody. So it's just
love it.
Look, it's solving that those customers' problems as well, because the kids come and they cry, they don't want to leave the kennel because they want a dog all of a sudden, So
love it.
It's looking at the different things that you can actually earn an income on, and always say yes to things.
Love it.
Hardly say no. You've got to learn. You've got to know your limits, and that's something that I've actually taught myself over the years as well. Because when I met you, I didn't know my limits. I was doing every single thing, but it's actually, just saying yes to things, and then figuring out how it's going to work out later. Because one of my philosophies as well is that I always love to run my businesses, my projects and everything from the customer up. So the customers will voice their opinions, and I like to serve. So I like to serve what the customer needs from it, because you build a good reputation from that, and they always come back as well. And then you can reach out to them and just think, all the relationships that I've actually built with my customers is that if anything's happening in the summer, I could send them a newsletter, and I'm thinking of them then, and I'm serving them with another opportunity for them to come and visit the dogs, because people fall in love with our dogs. They actually fall, you know, and when they come year after year, they come to see a certain dog. So so it's actually looking at those dogs as well, sort of like looking at the business and working with that, working what you've already got.
Very nice. It's interesting, and I'm a big endorser of what you said. Really, kind of taking your skills, because I mean you're a very highly skilled person, right? Mm-hmm. And you know, using those skills and effectively monetizing those skills to the maximum effectively. That's what you're saying, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Because you're the expert of your own business. Only you can actually. You are the expert, and you are the best of your business. So it's using those skills and monetizing on them as well. But also, you're offering a fantastic service. And you're keeping your customers happy, and you're providing them with something that they need. So you're solving a problem for them.
Very good. By the way, we got Stefan Tonen. He was on last week, and actually he said he did dog sledding in February in northern Sweden. It was an amazing experience.
And he's loving the conversation. Thank you, Stefan. It is an amazing experience. It's absolutely fantastic. I don't know, Stefan, how long a tour you did, but you know, our tours will go from 2 hours up to 2 days. And when you actually connect with the dogs, because the dogs can feel everything inside, the dogs can feel how you are feeling, you know. So when you connect with those dogs, when you arrive at the kennel, they're not just dogs. When you arrive at the kennel, they're just dogs. When you leave, they personalities. They got a voice. They've got, you know, they are something different. And when you're out with them up in the mountains and the silence, and they're working so hard with you, you know, we can offer people a trip of a lifetime. I've seen grown men crying on top of the mountain because they've experienced.
I love it.
What more can you want? And what we are seeing as well is more and more people are bringing their children to us with learning difficulties, nice. And maybe autism as well. And they've never ever seen their child excited, and they come and they see how the kids connect, and then that child all of a sudden becomes excited, and the parents have never seen it before. Wow, that money you couldn't spend money on that, could you? You know, that's just invaluable to actually witness that.
Let's see what Stefan says. It says 4 hours, but certainly do it again for 2 days. Lifetime experiences. Yeah. And you know, Claire, you're in the memories business. At the end of the day, you create memories. That's what you do. So you know, and that's what I love about it. It's very cool.
Yeah, create memories, and you know, people will reach out and they'll keep in contact with me year after year after year, and they'll send photographs. The amount of photographs that I have got sent, because maybe people will be walking in the street, right? And that's like what we say in Introbiz, isn't it? You have to keep top of mind attracts top opportunities, and people will be walking down the street and they'll take a picture of a husky and they'll send it to me. Saw this, thought of you. Thanks.
Love it. You know, actually, I just had this epiphany that came into my head as we were talking, right? And I don't know if you've ever considered this. And we were talking about creating like additional streams of income, right, for your business, right? Well, I know that your talented husband is very, should we say, he's very useful with his hands. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
So he's very good with his hands. But have you ever considered setting up some sort of e-commerce store, which maybe creating your own branded merchandise? I don't know if you explored that, but I know that we were on. I was on Clubhouse. Was today, but it was the other day or whatever it was, and we were talking about seasonal businesses. And well, there you go. There, perfect. There you go. Exactly. So you've got this. I know that you've got some amazing stuff, but I'm just also thinking about like all year round merchandise, right?
Yeah.
That effectively people can go on to like maybe a Shopify and just like, you know, because I mean, your stuff is absolutely like world class. You know, you use the best materials, and it's, you know, and it's just great. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, it was just kind of a random thing there.
No, that's not random at all, because that bag that I was showing you now, that I just showed you now, that's work in progress, because the leather you saw on there, Richard's actually produced his own leather from Ellie moose skin.
Yes. Okay.
So last year the hunters dropped off 15 moose skins, right? So they've just been the moose have just been skinned, and we had all the skins, and he's prepared all that skin, right? So that and it's taken him nearly a year to actually prepare it, and now it's leather. The colouring on it is from, he's going to kill me now if I don't remember what it is, willow. So it's from willow. So the colour on that is tanned willow. So it's all natural. There's nothing in there that's chemicals, right? So he's made that, and then we got the fur then is from like the Sami. So they are the local herders of reindeers. So that fur is from Sami, and that bag then is hand stitched. Okay, so it's actually made from the very beginning. You couldn't actually put a price tag on that, the hours that it actually takes to make it.
It's insane.
So it is absolutely insane. So those type of things, yes, it's work in progress. And we've got in autumn time, we got the Höstmarknad, the autumn market in Åre. So that's what he's preparing now. He's making a lot of things ready for that Höstmarknad. And then, and it's like he makes baskets out of birch trees as well, and out of the bark of birch trees. So he's producing all that ready. So yes, we are doing that. And yes, when people come and they come dog sledding at the moment, I've got merchandise that they can sell. And one of the plans as well is to have branded merchandise up as well. It's just I've never got round to it. I've never got round to it, but it is planned for, you know, because people like to take things away, little memorabilia away.
Of course they do. Of course they do. Of course they do. And you know, it's interesting.
Progress.
It's great for like corporate as well, you know, if you have a corporate group and stuff like that. And, you know, and it was just kind of a whim there. And I'm glad that you're considering it, because, you know, e-commerce and selling actual physical products, you know, it requires a very different mindset and requires a slightly different strategy.
Well, and that's the other thing is my weakness is sending things in post. I'm rubbish. I am so rubbish at it. So if I do something like this, I'm going to need somebody to actually do that bit for me.
Delegate. Absolutely.
I know. I can't. I've had letters on my desk for I don't know how long that I haven't sent in the post yet. So parcels is just not my thing. That's what's holding me back, that weakness. I know my weaknesses.
Yeah, definitely, 100%. Listen, guys, if you are listening in to us live and you want to make a comment like Stefan has done, or you want to make a share or a like, then do me a favor. We just like to know who's there in terms of engagement. It's kind of cool because we just like to have playtime and have fun. I've known Claire for quite some time. She's one of my clients as well, and she's just a great bundle of joy to be around. She loves helping people and stuff like that. So that's what I really love about you, anyway.
Yeah, thank you. I like to see people win. I like to see people win.
Absolutely. Well, that's good because, you know, and that to me is like a winning formula, right? If you want to help others win, right, you win yourself, and that to me that makes more sense, right? And we talked about this in the last Game Changers Summit with Bob Burke, right? He talks about go-giver sort of analogy and the go-giver strategy. The more that you give, right, Claire, the more that the universe will reward you. And some people, they say to me, they're like, Adam, they're like, so when is this going to come? When is this going to come? And it's like, well, you know, there is no specific time scale. Do you know what I mean? It's like, you know, when does, you know, pigs don't fly, you know, money doesn't grow on trees. I wish it would. It would be so much easier.
But I also think as well, if you're going to ask that question, right, you're giving to receive.
True.
If you ask that question, when is it going to come? You're just given to receive. If you're given to help people win, okay, something will happen in the future. But don't expect, and you don't know when, you don't know how, but something will happen. We have had, so you know, in our business, we've had so many amazing things happening to us in our journey, that, you know, even this afternoon, right? And it's such a little thing, but for me, it means a massive deal. Is that my neighbor now? You know, my neighbor knocked my door. She'd made homemade bread, and I'd actually maybe made a comment, you know, that I love homemade bread, and she knocked the door. And she made homemade bread. Now, I never expected it, and I was over the moon with it. So, and I've helped her out. It's not been in business; it's in personal stuff. I've helped feed the cat and things. But I never want anything. I never want anything for it.
Yeah.
But that's it. Is that if you're going to ask when is it going to happen, then you're expecting something back, aren't you?
Yeah, well, it's the same with anything, and I share this, right, with many, including yourself, is that if you expect, right, you become disappointed because you put an expectation, yet the universe doesn't work like that. Do you know what I mean? And without kind of getting woo woo, and it isn't woo woo, but it's kind of that manifestation. It's kind of, you know, you're setting it up, right? You're setting it up for it to effectively materialize at a time when you're least expecting it, and that's kind of my analogy. So, listen, this has been fun.
It's not. I know, but it's not even woo woo, isn't it? It's that body language. And my other business partner and I, we haven't spoken about this, but I've got 3 businesses actually where we've just set up a Confident Communication Queen membership with another business partner called Sarah Nystrom, and she's a body language expert. You know, and some things that she's actually learned is by your body language, you can communicate. And it's a high percentage, I can't remember the percentage, but it's a high percentage of your body language and your facial expressions that will actually communicate with that person. So actually, if you're giving, I'm going to give this person because I'm going to expect something back. Your body language and your facial expressions are going to say it all. That person's going to know that unconsciously.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's about 80%. I can't remember the percentages, but I think it's high in the 80s. It's in the 80s or whatever it is. Yeah. So, but listen, today's been fun. I've really enjoyed our conversations. I know that you've got a lot of strings to your bow, but I guess for those people that have enjoyed our conversations for today, what's the best way for people to get in contact with you if they wish to do so?
They can actually just Google Claire Rees Sweden and they'll find me. But I'm on all social media. If you put Claire Rees Sweden into Facebook, into LinkedIn, into Instagram, I'm in there. Or Introbiz Sweden, Wildspirit dog sledding. So anything to do with dogs, you can put Claire Rees Dogs in Sweden. You'll find me. I'm not difficult to find. But, you know, I just love to have conversations. So if anybody wants to reach out just to learn more about my story, because I know a lot of people are interested in emigrating and moving, and they want to know more about my story and have that conversation. And just to connect as well and to talk about, you know, maybe setting up a business. I know a lot of people, I've spoken to a lot of people at the moment are struggling in business, and I'm happy to help.
Love it, love it, love it. Very cool. Thanks very much, Claire. Really appreciate you being on tonight's show, and thanks to you guys that have engaged with us and shared the love. We love that. We love engagement. That's what we're here to facilitate. Just to let you know that last week was our 100th episode on the Game Changers Experience podcast. So if you haven't had the opportunity to listen, make sure that you listen to that, because that was a special show that me and my team put together. And it was amazing. It was basically showcasing some of the best bits of some of our past 100 episodes. And honestly, it will blow your socks away. So listen, I hope you enjoyed today's show with me and Claire Rees. Hopefully we'll see you again next week on the Game Changer Show. Take care, everybody. Have a great week, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you for having me.
Cheers now.
Thanks. Bye.
Hey, you guys, I just want to say thank you so much for listening in to this episode of the Game Changers Experience. I hope that you got some amazing value, some great insights, and golden nuggets that you can implement into your business straight away. I would really, really appreciate it if you could leave a 5-star review on the button below. Have a fantastic day, and we'll see you on the next episode. Take care.